Hi, welcome back to day 2 of NAB New York 2025. I'm still Michael Kammes with Keycode Media at the Keycode Media booth, and I'm glad you came back for this interview. So who we're sitting down with now is Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman from Pixitmedia, and we have a lot to talk about. So first, Mark, there's a lot of names on your shirt right now. There's Pixitmedia, there's DataCore, and there's been a lot of activity at Pixitmedia. Can you kind of describe what's happened with the company over the past 6 months or year?
Yeah, no, definitely. Earlier on in this year, we were acquired by DataCore, which has been a really interesting and really good thing for us. And it's enabled us to actually bring more things into our portfolio and some of the great things that DataCore had. And there's been a lot of integration over the last 6 months or so to bring it in. But what it really does for us is it brings two great companies together that enables us to really deliver real benefit to our customers across, be it on-prem, cloud, or hybrid, a mixture of it both. So yeah, it's been a really interesting thing. And the great thing that I've seen as well, they have the same passion as we do for our customers, like trying to achieve what the challenges, deliver on the challenges that the customers are finding and having.
When we first heard of the acquisition, a lot of us were very excited because of the fantastic software layer that Pixitmedia had that sits on top of storage. And I don't think a lot of people know what that is. I think us integrators know, but
Yeah.
I'd love for you to talk about what that software layer is and what it does for your storage.
Yeah, so it's a software-defined platform. So it enables you to pick the right technology, hardware technology, for the right application and the right workflow that you're trying to achieve. But it also allows you to actually look at your data and understand your data. We have a rich analytics in there, so you can go into how hot the data is, when it's been touched. And this is really important because budgets are tight across the board and everyone knows that. And what this enables you to do is actually see where that data needs to be for what you're trying to achieve with that data. So if you're doing real-time playback or any AI, you need hot data, you need fast performance. So you can move that data onto NVMe storage, for example. But when it's not hot and not being used, you can actually tier it off to a more cost-efficient storage tier, be it nearline SAS or an object tier. And what that does for you is the Pixstore software across the top with Ingenia gives you that global namespace and that global view of that data wherever that resides. And what that gives the customer and the user, the operator, is that they see the data as the data and it's always there, but the underlying technology allows it to be in certain places for cost efficiency, collaboration, and that sort of thing. So it just gives you that global view and makes the data be where you need it to be at the right time and at the right cost.
I think a common question we get asked is, I'm running out of storage space, I'm just going to buy another JBOD, I'm just going to buy another chassis of storage. And what we found with shrinking budgets is, why not do some housekeeping on your existing system and using that software layer to determine how many duplicates and what needs to be hot and what can be pushed off to LTO or slower spinning disk. You can actually optimize your storage usage so you don't have to have that CapEx expenditure to buy more storage.
That's a really good point, because one of the things that we see, we have customers and organizations come to us and say, I need 2 petabytes of NVMe for this. And it's a bit counterintuitive from a sales organization. You want to say, yes, I'll sell you that.
Right.
But you're like, but how much of that is hot? And when we're able to use some of our partners and us, we can analyze that data. And traditionally, normally we come back and say, well, actually, you've only got 25% that is actually used regularly. So that's what you need your NVMe tier to be. And then utilize other technology, the spinning disk, like you said,
Sure.
object or cloud, and move it there. But with us, the operator gets to just see the file as it's there anyway. So no matter where you stored it. So in 6 months' time or a year's time, if they want that data back, all they have to do is double click on it and we'll rehydrate it back into, the production storage, the fast bit, the really costly part of the solution. We'll just hydrate it back in, and people could carry on working as it was always there.
So a few years ago, Keycode was lucky enough to work with AI Plus, which was kind of multimodal AI software that very intelligently for the time said, instead of having one big model, let's have individual models that we can swap out to handle different parts of the analytical AI process.
Yeah.
And we've deployed it. It's been working great, but this happened before the acquisition. So it's changed a little bit now, right?
Yeah.
So what is it called now, and what other features are now in the product?
Yeah, so what it's called now is Iris, and what that does, that enables you to have, and what I say is an asset is only an asset when it's making you money.
Yes.
So if you can't see it or know where it is or get it back or understand what is in that asset, it's not going to make you money. So it just becomes it just costs you money to have it stored somewhere. And what we've done, we've brought in the AI element and what was called vision into Iris. And what that does is use AI to enrich metadata. So the version that we're showing here enables you to ingest the content, and while you're ingesting it, it will produce a proxy that you can keep on your production storage, and then move the high res to a more cost-effective technology.
Sure.
But what that does, so the operators can actually see and browse all those proxies like it's on the system. And then you can use Pixstore and Ingenia to migrate that data back onto your production storage if you want. But also, which is the clever bit and the AI bit, we're enriching that metadata. So like I said, if you can't find the asset, it's not an asset. And with the AI element, it enables you it will watch the video or audio, listen to the audio, and it will give you a synopsis in the metadata of what that is and what that is showing you, and which becomes searchable, and it uses AI to pull out some keywords or key tags. So that's all become searchable. And then the real good thing about it is it will do a transcript. Mm-hmm. And every word in that transcript now becomes searchable. So if you're, like for here, you and I are talking about NAB New York on day 2, that will become searchable in the UI. So someone can say, we wanted to talk about NAB, search NAB, and it'll come up with all the clips in your library or your archive that someone said, or in the file name it had NAB New York. Mm-hmm. And it really gives the power to the organization to understand their content. And what we're really doing is, I suppose, we're structuring unstructured data. And that just feeds into the, one of our pillars in the organization is discover. And it's about discovering your content, because it's your crown jewels. Being from the UK, it's the crown jewels.
Pretty important.
Yeah.
There's, and I'll give away a little bit of secret sauce here, but as an integrator, as a company that's looking for new technologies, we kind of have a checklist of all the things that we want to make sure AI can do so we can educate people on that. And, and what I really love about what's being done by Pixit is that you check all the boxes. There's it's using multimodal AI, but it's also saying we're going to use different models depending on what's important. Second of all, it's on premises, so we're not just tying into a third-party API, although I believe you can.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're still running this on-prem. And the third one is it's storage agnostic. And that's like the holy trinity of folks who want to deploy AI and not have to deal with cloud or a vendor lock-in in terms of storage.
Yeah, that is really important, because, like you say, the content is what makes you the money. And there's several reasons why you want it on-prem or in cloud. It enables you to make that choice and make the choice correctly for you. And like you say, and I think one of the best things about Pixitmedia and what we do, and the ethos that has actually came across with DataCore as well, is, the content is yours. And so wherever you store it, on-prem object or cloud object, we don't put that data into a proprietary format.
Right.
So it allows you to, just go and see it. If you want to go into your cloud bucket or blob, you can go in there. If you have the credentials, go in there and you see the file. We don't change anything. It's not ones and zeros and you have to come out through us. It's your content. And so there's no tax on data, and it's not about, it's yours. So if it's there, it's yours. So we don't, charge any additional taxes on that or to move it there. Once you're on our platform, you can move it to wherever you want to move it to make it more cost effective for you.
Excellent. Mark, thank you so much for your time. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this interview today, day 2 of NAB 2025 here in New York. If you're interested in incorporating AI into your production, post-production, broadcast, or AV pipeline, or maybe you're just looking to take a look at your storage and see where we can cut some corners, reach out to Pixitmedia. Our staff is knowledgeable, we've got fantastic pricing, and the first consultation is free. So check us out at Pixitmedia.com, and we'll see you on the next stream.